On this episode of AR Curious, we talked about a lot of the minutia of long-range shooting. We talked about why you would want a tripod or not want a tripod for long-range shooting, the implementation of different support systems. We wandered through several rabbit holes in other places in relation to hunting. That's pretty common here, so get used to it. Welcome back to the AR Curious podcast with me, Doug, and Brent. Today we are going to talk about something that probably gets ignored. Is she in frame?
Yeah, she
I love this.
Let's just leave it.
100% leaving it in. Lily is the best. She did not like me for the first few months I worked here, and she finally got on board.
Nobody did.
I'm an acquired taste.
Yeah.
I think, we were talking about things that I thought were relevant in the carbine shooting world. And one of the things that I think kind of gets neglected, everybody learns how to shoot on a short range. Like most people go to classes and it's like up down drills at 5, 7, 10. And
50 and in. 50 and in really is like, or long range.
And with long range, a lot of people are shooting bipods and guys are shooting like prone supported with just a regular carbine. But we don't talk about the different positions for shooting a carbine supported, and we don't really put a lot of talk into things like tripods, rests, different styles of mounting on tripods. So I thought we'd go through kind of like what the different aspects of that were and what their advantages were. Apparently we have different opinions on these things, so brace yourselves. I am a huge fan of Arca rails, and I know like we're just now releasing a new handguard at Reptilia. This is a partial Arca rail here on this handguard. We also make a full Arca rail in 13 and 15. I think they're awesome. Brent apparently does not love Arca.
I have an odd perspective, or a peculiar perspective, if you will, on tripods, Arca rails, and some of the stuff that's great for like a PRS and a training environment. And I think there's a ton of, it's worth training with it. It's the real world application where it's very challenging. So putting a gun on a tripod with an Arca rail, or really any rail setup under night vision, is like, you always feel like a fucking idiot. You're bumbling around, it's super loud, whereas the old school clamping hog saddle, they're universal. It also works like if you grab a 338 platform or an AR-10 or an AR-15 platform, it works across all of those things. There's not a lot of training that's needed to get it to seat, and in my experience, it's just a lot quieter. So on one hand, I get the stability of the Arca rail, it's locked in, you're done with it, but in practice, where you're putting it in and taking it out way more than you normally would.
Well, even the lightest tripods that are out there, like, I mean, we just, I've been shooting Fedners now for a few years. Don't ask me how to spell it. We just ordered a Really Right Stuff one because my Fedner got lost in transit back from SHOT Show. So we needed one for photos. So I was like, we're going to spend $2,000 on a tripod. Like it's expensive. I mean, literally a good tripod is like almost $2,000 with the ball head. And in addition to that, like they're not small.
No, have you hunted off of a tripod?
So no, I mean, yes, but almost always varmints. So like hauling in coyotes or shooting groundhogs or things like that, I'll use a tripod because I have time to set up and do stuff. Man, we murdered like 500 turtles in Texas one year at a hog hunt. Like there was a lake and there's all these turtles, and we used air guns, and it was a 300-meter shot across the lake.
With an air gun?
Oh,
wow.
Shooting air guns at 300 meters is rad.
Yeah, you're probably going to go to jail in Texas.
Tons of dope.
Said that.
I don't think we were shooting illegal turtles.
Yeah.
Not snapping turtles.
You were totally legal.
Yeah, totally legal.
Those turtles.
But it was fun, and shooting off a tripod was really cool because you can make a lot of adjustments like fairly easily, and you can have movement across like a full range of fire for whatever you want to engage. But it does take time to set it up, and humping one in is a pain. You see a lot of guys using shooting sticks now. Like, African hunting and stuff like that.
Well, that's been a long time thing. The tripod like came on as a big deal, I think, with a lot of PRS influence and competition influence as that permeated into long range military and hunting shooting.
I mean, it's a camera.
It's a camera tripod.
Yep.
And like in the early days, we were taking our Rista kits, if you remember that.
Yep.
Came with a carbon fiber tripod, and we were
Recon
stealing
surveillance. I don't know what RISTA stands for, but RSTA for people who are not familiar with all of our acronyms.
Yeah, so it was a kit for surveillance and reconnaissance.
It's like
came with cameras,
like
and things like that.
video camera, some other random stuff, night vision, thermal.
Yeah, but we were stealing those tripods and then training with it, and the idea was you were going to use the tripod for long range. What I found in practice was when it came down to this versus that, the tripod took up more space. So when you're looking at, I've got a drone, I've got SIGINT gear, I've got a long gun, the tripod just never made the cut for me. And then I've shot from a seated position quite a bit, and that was either always off of like my legs as a support or a pack as a support.
Yep.
So I always felt, I never had one or used one, but I felt like the weird tripod backpack setup could be the most useful, but to me it had to be built in, otherwise I wasn't going to take it.
Well, I mean, honestly, we've done a couple of different training events in the last year where we wanted to feature a tripod in what we were doing.
Yeah.
And trying to figure out how to get a tripod on a guy's kit to get up to an Overwatch position is like, good luck, because you're already carrying a fairly large rifle with a rangefinder attached and a thermal. It's a big piece of equipment.
Yep.
And then you also have to carry this like kind of clunky tripod. So like, I understand that it's Met TC, like it's...
and I'm sure there's a ton of guys who've used them like outside of a training environment, whether that's hunting or actual operations. I just never, when it came down to it, it was like bipods or a field expedient shooting position. And if it was like true long range, let's call it 1,000 meters and out.
Yep.
I wanted to be as low and close to a prone as I could. And if it was like closer than that, like a medium range engagement, let's say like 200 to 800, it was going to be faster
to be
and I wanted cover.
Off the hood of the truck. Yeah.
Or walking in, it was like, high angle down a mountain, probably would have been great for tripod, except I wanted to be as low for cover as I could.
And honestly, even when you spread the legs out super wide and get it low, you're still shooting from a seated position. And honestly, like same with me, in real world, I've always wanted to be a lot lower.
Yeah.
Seems like with hunting, you have a lot more forgiveness in like being able to shoot from a seated position.
Well, you get to choose that encounter. So like I've hunted a bunch in Texas as of late, and that's a lot of blind stuff or like off of a canyon down in. When I did a course in Texas as a student.
West of the Pecos?
Yeah, out by Midland.
Bro, that's out there.
It's way out there, but we were on those big peninsulas shooting, or mesas rather, shooting into canyons, and we could set up, I had a tripod there, I shot hogs pretty far, like 1,700 meter shots on hogs.
Nice.
With a 6.5 Creedmoor.
But everyone watching this will say that you can't possibly shoot hogs that far with a 6.5 Creedmoor.
I wouldn't recommend it. Like, it's not, the caliber of choice. We were testing a platform and we're testing a gun.
Yep.
And that was what we were doing. We wanted to see
Which
how
is,
it was.
I mean, it's honestly the best part about like the work we've done in general is like getting to test random stuff and get real world experience. I had a guy call here. I'm not going to name any names. He was very nice. He was clearly on the spectrum. He talked to me for an hour, and it was clear like his analysis paralysis of what he wanted was so bad because he'd spent months reading forums.
Oh,
and
yeah.
getting everybody's take.
The recce rifle, 12 versus 11 and a half.
Yep.
Like,
well, I've been shooting nothing but ACOGs this whole time, and he's like, I'm about to switch over to like low power variable optics, and I wanted to get the perfect one, and the one that he got, I think, had a lot of compromises. And I'm like, hey man, there's
he
no
a
such.
veteran?
No.
Okay.
No. He spent about 20 minutes telling me about his dad's hunting exploits too, which
Okay.
I thought was, it was a very he was Texan. Brent once told me that I was the first semi-honest Texan he'd ever met in his entire life. And I was like, that's not true.
I've since reneged on that statement and said you're like the rest of them. Yeah.
But I definitely I've framed my interactions with my old friends in Texas now after that. I'm like, Brent might be more right than I than I was willing to admit. But I was just amazed. Like, I forgot what it was like because we've had so much real world interaction, not just in the military, because I think the military is very narrowly informed about what they like because they shoot what they get. And
Which is a brilliant model, by the way.
well, they don't get a choice.
But there also is a complete system. So
Yep.
what I see a lot of guys running into is the issue of you've built the rifle, well, also you need the ammo to feed it. The ammo, if you're using some type of BDC reticle, that all has to work in unison. Your suppressor has to work in unison, and guys want to tinker. So you make one change to that system,
And everything
now
else
everything
doesn't
else
work.
has to change,
Yep.
and it's not zeroed. You don't have good data.
Is this
the list
why
goes on.
we've like sunsetted things like the Mark 12, like the SPR platforms, where they're like kind of outlier platforms? I mean, they were built for Mark 262 ammo, the 77 grain.
Yeah, I don't know. Has that been sunset? The
Oh,
Mark
I
12
mean,
type
I don't
platform?
think that the Mark 12 platform's been actually issued. I will be shocked. I know that NSW probably still has things like this because they do
Yeah.
Wahoo stuff all the time, and I'm sure the unit still has like access to those kinds of things. But like on the more traditional white soft side, we always got trickle down, and I haven't seen an SPR in circulation in
I saw
a decade.
more at Marine Corps infantry line units. They would have like one SPR per platoon or squad or whatever
Yeah.
it was issued out at. And I saw more there than in the soft enterprise, because like soft enterprise, you typically have a long barrel and a short barrel, so you kind of have a SPR-ish
14 and a half.
thing. Yeah, you have a 14 and a half that could reach out, to a grand relatively reliably. If you have 70 or 77 grain,
Yeah.
it answered the mail for that job. But again, it was an entire system that was like one package deal that was put together.
I've gotten super, so I have a Mark 12. It's probably one of my favorite AR platforms that I have. And now that they're switching, I see a lot of Mark 12s that are 6-arc.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, I really want to go that way, because my 6-arc is literally the craziest gun I own.
It's cool.
Oh, dude, it is amazing.
Yeah.
And I mean, reliability aside, I haven't had any issues with mine. I know that they exist, but having a gun in a small frame platform that can easily shoot 1200 it's pretty crazy.
Well, and so I think 6.5 Creedmoor, the 6-arc, those platforms, it's not so much that you can reach out with a 308 pretty far. It's easier with a 6.5 Creedmoor, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so the 6-arc, you're not extending this range exponentially by the numbers of I know a guy who took a shot at 1500 with a short barreled AR, whatever stupid thing there is. It's that it's easier and more accessible to do it, right? It's a flatter round.
Less math.
Yeah.
It's just it's a better shooting experience. And honestly, you have a lot more choice going from 5.56 to 6-arc. You have a lot heavier bullet with a lot lower BC. It's just a better, it's a better round.
All right, so back to the Arca rail on the gun. What's the use case for that? Is that on your general purpose rifle? Is that on an SPR type thing?
You know me. I'm a long gun kind of dude at this point.
Same.
I think I have one short barrel rifle, and I almost never use it. Every one of my rifles is, I think my shortest AR platform is a 13.7.
Okay.
And it feels short to me. It feels like a very small gun. This is actually a 13.7 with a Helix 6 carbon fiber barrel. So, I mean, to me, this feels like a short barrel rifle.
Yeah, it looks like a small gun.
My 6-arc is an 18-inch gun. My Mark 12 is a 16.1. I have a few 14.5s, but once they have a can on them, they're already getting pretty long anyway. But I shoot mid-distance carbine a lot. And for me, going to an unknown distance range like Coleman's Creek and shooting, out to 1200, having on a tripod is great, because I just get out there and I engage targets and go through the basic math. But I'd have a hard time telling myself that I wanted to bring a tripod with me somewhere where I was hunting or working.
Yeah, when you have to pack it in is when it's the game changer. The other piece for me, even if let's say you're gonna drive in with trucks, you're gonna take a compound, you're gonna remain over day, that old playbook. There's so many times where you're on a roof on one corner of that compound,
And you gotta move?
You gotta move, or you're shooting through a hidey
loophole,
hole or a loophole.
Are we allowed to say that?
Yeah, I don't know if you're allowed to.
Beep that.
But whatever you're going to do, you have to move so much in there that to me the tripod was always like, man, this thing's a huge pain in the dick to drag it around.
It is. And for me, I honestly, the thing that sold me on Arca, I mean, I have a hog saddle tripod. I've got a bunch of like random bags, rear bags, front bags, things that are meant to make it easier to shoot long range. One thing I like about Arca is the versatility of Arca, which is that it's not really just for a tripod for me.
Yeah.
I've got a heavy bag that is on a slider for Arca that I can just slide onto the Arca rail and clamp down, and it weighs like more than the actual rifle. So like I get a lot more stable shooting platform on rests with that. I've got all of my bipods are Arca mounted, so like they just slide on and slide off, as opposed to having to like undo bolts for Picatinny. Like it's a quick change deal.
Are you putting a bipod that far back on that?
So these short rails are bipod attachment only. They're single use, but if it's a full Arca rail, all of my stuff has full Arca rails. I think this is much more for guys that have a multi-use carbine that want to shoot at a range off of a tripod at times, but they still want to feel like they have a regular use carbine grip, and they more than likely are going to have flashlights and some sort of barricade stop and a laser and all this other stuff on the gun as well at the same time. For me, with a full Arca rail, I think I only have one gun that has a full Arca rail that has a laser, and I don't know why I have it. Like, it's because I had an extra laser.
Yeah, and you're like, I got to build a gun for this laser.
I have a mid-range, kind of a PVS 22 equivalent night vision clip-on.
Okay.
That I put on that rifle, and then the laser will let me shoot. But I mean, it's illegal to shoot. It's illegal to hunt with night vision, except for like yotes and pigs.
Yeah.
So like for yotes and pigs, I have a laser set up for shooting under night vision through a scope, which I think is useful. It's also one of those deals where, I mean, and we've talked about this, like once you go down the rabbit hole in this, like, the Jeff Cooper beware the man with one gun thing is real.
Yeah.
But also there are so many different use cases for guns that you might have 4 of the same gun set up to do different things so that you're not just constantly changing things out. I know when we first got into ARs, quick release optics was like the thing.
Yep.
Where it's like, oh, well, I might want to take it off so that I can use iron sights. And you're like, because, it used to be, they'd say, oh, you don't have backup sights on your gun. You're not a serious person.
Yeah.
And I'm like, when was the last time your primary optic went down?
It's a statistical anomaly.
Yeah. I mean, if you're using a holographic sight, it's, I think, more of a concern just because there's so many electronics and battery dependent. So like having the ability to switch to like mechanical sights on that platform still might have some value. But I mean, all of the SR25s and Mark 12s had those super match nights flip ups. They're really nice. The Marine Corps was like a huge proponent of them.
Yeah.
Half the ones that I got secondhand were all engraved USMC. It's weird how that works.
Craigslist specials back in the day, yeah.
But they were great. But now, like, especially with LPVOs and how durable scopes are, I don't have a reason to do quick disconnect anything, like quick detach.
Yeah.
And honestly, the quick detach is kind of a liability. One of the things that I love about like Reptilia scope mounts versus some of our competitors.
Do you guys do any QD?
No.
No QD.
No QD.
Oh,
and honestly, like if you look at the way, like the mounting side, almost everybody else is going to have a 1/2 inch nut on their mounts, which hangs up on your gear and is just kind of like a nuisance. And all of our stuff is super smooth and it doesn't really get in the way. But I'm never taking this thing off. Like,
no, I swapped optics on that Nordic that we've had.
Yep.
I've had that since 2017.
cat driver, bro.
Yeah, the thing shoots lights out, but some of the guys at Aimpoint sent me optics.
Yep.
That's the first time in 8 years I took that optic off.
I think I've had the same setup. I mean, working here, I change optics a little bit more just because for the sake of marketing photos, I'll want to change the setup. But I mean, like this Zero Compromise is fire. I want one. I just don't want to spend, $4,000 on one. I guess in Europe, the 36 millimeter tube has been huge for years. And
do you think it's because they night hunt?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if they night hunt. I don't know anything about European hunting.
So like in Germany, night hunting is a big thing. So
Really?
but you can't use like night vision and things like that.
So it's like a twilight.
No, it's off of the moon.
Oh.
Yeah, so they'll like watch the lunar calendar. There's actually you would like it. It's I believe, SIN watch that has like a lunar
For hunting?
and it's for hunting.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I know for them, it's like trying to figure out how to hunt at night as a big.
Well, I mean, the 36 millimeter tubes, I mean,
It's gonna pull in the moonlight.
It's bright.
Yeah.
It's a really cool thing, but I mean, there's not a lot of 36 millimeter optics for sale in the U.S. So we just released a 36 millimeter mount for pretty much a zero compromise.
Like that's pretty much the only thing.
It's the only quality one in the U.S. right now. I think that
Who else makes one?
there's quite a few Chinese knockoff scopes that are like in the 36 millimeter range right now. And I don't actually know how they perform. I've been pretty interested. Consumer feedback that we get through a lot of customer service calls. There's a lot of dudes switching over to like primary arm scopes now, and the reviews on their LPVOs.
It's like a Vortex 2.0, right? Like it's
supposedly
cheap, it's reliable.
Supposedly it's
good
much
warranty.
better, and they're not actually that cheap.
they're not.
I mean, they're not like break your bank expensive, but they're like closing in on $2,000.
Well, that's how Vortex is.
Yeah.
But Vortex was a cheaper option.
And Vortex also, like, we only think about their Razor HD line because that's the only ones that we shoot. And those are fairly expensive.
Yeah, they're pretty.
And
They're not cheap.
We get a military discount, which brings them into the realm of like possibility to buy. So I don't.
No, I had a Vortex Spark, like their shitty.
Nice. Yeah, the red dot.
Red dot.
Yeah.
On, I think it was on that Nordic. I think that's what I took
I bet it
off to
lasted-
put the aim point on.
I bet it lasted a long time.
Yeah, I never had an issue with it. No.
And their lifetime warranty. Everybody's like, a lifetime warranty kind of covers it. You know, like we get snobby because we can and we like nice stuff, but
Well, I don't buy optics that often. So, like, when I put an optic on, it rides on that gun typically for years. Like, I'm not swapping through.
I firmly have nice optics on my guns because we had a good relationship with Loophole at Softfleet.
Yeah.
Like literally, I actually called them the other day. I have a rangefinder that I was using for archery, and I called. My phone is still attached to the Softfleet account.
Yeah.
So when I call people, the caller ID says Softfleet.
Nice.
And I'm like, I laugh because I don't think about it often.
Yeah.
But I was like, hey, I've got this laser rangefinder and it's like 4 years old and the LEDs in it are going out and like I can't really use it anymore. Is there a way for me to send it in and get you guys to fix it? And he's like, we don't really do that. But he's like, are you at Softfleet? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, you guys still have an account. Do you want me to just mail you a replacement one, like the new model? And I was like, yes. I was like, 100%.
I don't get any of those hookups.
Well, I mean, apparently all you got to do is call.
Yeah, from your phone.
Yeah. Well, your phone's probably connected too.
Yeah, it is. It's 'cause it's a company phone. So,
Yeah, it was. I was laughing though because I was like, he was like, hey, this isn't the normal way we do customer service, but here, let me hook you up. I was like, oh, that's awesome. So like, Loophole stuff.
They have really quality stuff too, though. Like they've
amazing.
maintained the quality. They make it in house.
I still have a Mark 6 from a decade ago that is on my 6 ARC, and it still is one of my favorite scopes. I think the Mark 6 1-6 is the best LPVO that was ever made.
Are they making bipods and tripods? Like at one point, they sent us those Spartan bipods, and
I don't know.
I wasn't a huge fan of the magnetic attachment.
Oh, I don't remember any of that.
Oh yeah,
That's kind of cool.
They were trying to like push into that at one point. I don't know if they
It's an
still are.
expensive. I can only imagine what their manufacturing costs are when you see what the costs are. I called Really Right Stuff before we spent the money on buying a $1,800 tripod. I was like, hey, is there like an industry thing where we can like do some trade for equipment or anything?
Yeah.
They were actually like, oh, there is, but like the person for that isn't in, and I needed it for a shoot, so I was just like, I'm just gonna order it. But do you know what their military discount is at RRS?
10%.
5.
Oh wow, yeah. They probably just don't have the margin.
I don't think there's margins, and I mean like I don't know if it's the carbon fiber or like the like precision machining for the heads
Or tariffs
and stuff.
now.
I think
Is there stuff made
I
in
think
the
there's stuff
USA?
made in the USA.
Yeah.
I do. I don't know that for certain, but at the price point,
Well, especially if you want materials made in USA, like you guys know, your stuff's made in USA. It's like it's not cheap just in materials.
no, it is not. And
So-
it's really interesting to see what scale. Because I mean, it's funny, talking to Sterling at Stubborn Mule about doing some projects, and it's like it's just machine time. Machine time costs what machine time costs.
So you can make it up if you use like forgings instead of starting with a brick of billet.
Yep.
Like,
well, that makes up on the machine time, but you got to pay for tooling costs up front for your
Yeah.
forging.
Oh,
so
yeah.
like it's like this whole 6, 7, Look at me, I'm a kid again.
Yeah, you've got to pick one or the other, right?
Yep.
And then, but to your point, when you do start to scale, and you can load up those machines so that they run without intervention for 4 days, like
If you buy a week of machine time,
yeah, it gets
you
really
watch the
affordable.
cost go down dramatically per unit. So, I mean, we know this. I mean, all of these mounting things, like a lot of it's been very boutique. Area 419 gear was one of the first to really push into specific long range ARCA related stuff. They still make great stuff.
I didn't think ARCA was going to continue to be a thing.
Because it was straight up camera.
It was camera, but when it started to become a thing, I was still on the hog saddle, which I, fully showing my gray hair here, but I like the hog saddle still. And I didn't think that it was going to take hold the way that it did.
Well, if you notice too, when you were talking about the transference between large chassis guns to tube PRI, like the Mark 12 or whatever,
Yeah.
the hog saddle's good for all of those.
Yeah.
What's interesting is
ARCA is too, arguably, if that's on all of your systems.
But ARCA is only now starting to gain broad spectrum adoption. So a lot of older guns have a weird Picatinny mount on the bottom that doesn't fit on an ARCA rail.
Yep.
But if you look at the way, kudos to Really Right Stuff and some of the other brands where they were a camera specific company that branched into hunting accessories.
Oh, is RRS?
RRS is a camera thing. Yeah, if you go to their website,
interesting.
it's predominantly camera stuff. You have to kind of dig down in the menus to find the shooting specific stuff, but they have legitimate heads that are dual use. So they've machined a Picatinny slot below the ARCA. So if you have a Picatinny, it goes in the middle and tightens just like an ARCA does.
Oh, cool.
It's actually very cool. But coming up with the guns that were issued, I didn't have an ARCA attachment for a Mark 12. They do make some now for the PRIs.
Yeah.
But I still have Picatinny rail attachments on my Mark 12.
Well, yeah, Picatinny's still on so much. Are your guns, SOCOM still has the URGI uppers on some of the legacy rifles still around?
So I haven't been on a team for long enough now that I don't know what current generation of SOP mod is there. But when I was leaving, the URGIs were the thing, which I have mixed feelings about that. I mean, obviously,
but it was so much Picatinny rail is my point.
Yep.
That everything was for a long time
all the night
pick
stuff and quad rails and all that other stuff. But I mean, nobody was mounting those guns on tripods ever. I mean, if you had a 14.5-inch recce gun, you weren't thinking about a tripod back then. At least I wasn't.
We were starting to figure out how to get those guns into tripods, but again, in hindsight, it was always in training, and then for real world, I wasn't taking the tripod.
Well, getting out of a truck and reacting to contact, even if it's long range react to contact, you're not pulling a tripod out and setting up a rifle. You're adopting a prone position, and
And when cover comes into the equation, it's really hard to not only do you have to make the cover work, but you got to make the tripod setup work for the cover. And then how much ground can you cover on one pivot point versus if you're able to scooch back and forth, right?
Yeah.
So I think that was part of it. But on the rails, I'm curious if you're going to see more ARCA. Is that patented? Nobody else can integrate the ARCA?
No,
I wouldn't think
it's
you could
pretty
patent
common.
that.
One of the coolest things that I have found about the gun industry in the last year is a lot of IP is really squishy.
Well, it's almost like a weird bro code of
there's a lot of sharing.
There's a ton of sharing, but there's also a lot of hey, that company has that thing that's theirs. Other companies will steal it, but they get shit on often. But very few companies are patenting things, probably because it changes so fast.
So a lot of that is the difference between, and I'm going to probably missay this, but utility patents versus general use patents, and people adopting the wrong patent for the thing that they did. So we always know, a good lawyer. Shout out to what was our law firm?
Oh man,
Warwick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it Warwick?
Yeah, it's Warwick.
Great lawyers. If
Warwick
you guys,
Robinson.
Yeah. If you need good lawyers in the Triangle, they got me out a couple jams.
Yeah. No. They got me out of a couple of your jams.
But yeah, dude, I know that getting a good lawyer matters in a lot of these things, and it's interesting to see how you think you got a good patent attorney. But you didn't get a good patent.
There's
attorney.
always a workaround too,
Yep.
right? Like when something is novel, you can change it enough if you really want to work around it.
But I mean, like, to think that ARCA was a very specific camera thing that migrated over to the gun industry, like, people that are putting ARCA rails on guns aren't, like, seemingly having to deal with patent infringement from the camera side.
Well, the patent side's interesting for like consumer goods and accessories, because if you patent it and nobody else can make a thing for it, you're not going to get the widespread adoption.
Can't sell it.
Yeah, you can't sell it. It's like, oh, you can only buy the things that I sell. That works better when you own a share of the market and you like
When I first started,
lightning plug for an iPhone, right?
when I first started shooting tripods, right? Like, I know that we talked about $2,000 tripods a whole lot, like the top tier, but like I shot that tripod that camera's on for probably 6 or 7 years. It's an Amazon special. It's a slick, and it's got camouflage tape wrapped around the legs.
Yeah.
And it's got a freaking Lenovo ball head
Dude,
for cameras.
I still have a bog pod that they
Yeah.
sell at like, I don't know if they sell them at Walmart, but they sell them at like big box stores. But I got it because I was going to do a coyote hunt and was like, man, actually I should grab a tripod for this. This will work great.
They do.
Walked into an academy or Sportsman's Warehouse or something. Was like, I need a shooting tripod, and like, boom.
Really,
It's really heavy.
from my standpoint, so weight is one of the biggest concerns when you're buying a tripod, which is really just a comfort issue.
Yeah.
And
But I didn't
size,
care because I was like driving and then
yeah.
walking 800 meters.
size matters for packability. And then also, if you're looking at like the heads, the difference between running a camera head and running a designated like shooting head,
Yes. Big
convenience wise, it's pretty big. The way that
there's a
they
big quality gap,
the,
I will
when the
say.
releases and the weight that they're designed to hold, like, you know, for a camera tripod where like a telephoto lens on a camera that's fairly well balanced is probably the most weight that it's going to have on it.
Yeah.
And if you have a long telephoto lens, you mount it on the lens mount to balance the weight of the camera. With a gun, you're dealing with a huge variation of weight. You know, I mean, this is, I don't know, this is probably 8
And that's
pounds.
a light gun that would
Yeah,
go on
this
a
is
tripod.
a
Like,
very light gun.
insanely light.
And then you have up to like probably close to a 30-pound gun that's going on a tripod.
That's front heavy.
Very.
Yeah.
And so stabilizing that on a tripod when you're using a camera tripod, it's always interesting because you'll like get on target and you'll tighten the head down and you'll like release tension a little bit and it shifts.
You're 6 feet off.
And I'm like, okay, this sucks. Like I'm actually gonna have to maintain body position.
Well,
to-
so then you need the RRS stuff was very rigid. So it was lightweight, but it was very rigid, and it was very like reliable from the like robust is a better way to put that. You didn't think it was gonna like give as you leaned into it
Yep.
or like pulled on it.
Well, you can
et cetera.
actually like brace into the tripod on those, which really helps a lot. And when you see the way guys set up a lot of tripods, like there's a lot of technique in how you're putting your bracing leg down. Like a lot of guys will run it out longer, and so they can actually lean into it and apply a lot more like stability.
Yeah, it's interesting the thoughts on that shooting because I revert back to like very classic Marine Corps bone support, no muscular involvement at all possible. But there's a lot of guys that are really great shooters that are like muscling the fuck out of that setup.
There's also like that, you know, talking to PRS shooters, and this goes back to a lot of what we talked about before about, you know, different skill sets learned from different things. I've learned so much from PRS shooters about body position that I never learned in the military, just in terms of like, a lot of these guys will center line the rifle. And I'm like, no, that doesn't make sense. And they're like, just come off the scope and then get back on it and tell me how you feel about it. And I'm like, I'm maintaining my
Natural point of
and
aim.
my target picture doesn't
Yeah.
move when I'm not slightly off center from the rifle.
Yep.
So like my ability to do work and like, you know, actually change elevation or look at a dope card and then come back into the scope and be on target still is a lot better, and even better for follow-up shots.
Well, so part of it too is like a tripod's a great thing for long range, but long range operations or hunting is very different from a long range shooting competition because time is condensed. So most of your time behind a long gun on a mission is spent looking at shit and doing observations. So same deal with a tripod, right? And for me, when I started to acknowledge the fact that comfort was a big factor in that, my gear started to change to be more comfortable sitting behind it for long periods of time, right? Whereas before, you're always told like no comfort-based decisions. Well, when you're dehydrated, you walked in, it's 105 degrees out, you're baking on the side of a hill, or it's cold as shit at night. The comfort-based decision early means that it's easier to stay out like
I assure you,
on observations.
I made a lot of comfort-based decisions when I was told I wasn't supposed to.
Yeah.
I've read a lot of paperback novels on observation where I was like, we're going to be here for 3 days. I'm going to read a few pages and look again.
Yeah, totally.
Make sure my spotter's got eyes on, and we're kind of like back and forth and be like, all right, man, I'm gonna read a little bit, and then I'm gonna come back on. And like, I know I probably shouldn't be saying that, but I mean, when you're doing multi-day things.
Yeah, I think that's the reality of it.
I
never took a book on an op, but I'm also not knocking you for it.
Yeah, it definitely was a relief. We did a lot of I did a lot of long range observation stuff in Afghanistan, and it was like, this is mind numbing. You know what? Louis L'Amour would be a perfect addition to this.
We sat on an observation point for a logistics convoy, and we tried to get them to do a totally different game plan, but they specifically wanted us on this terrain feature called the Foot that was north of Camp Leatherneck, and we were like 10 kilometers from their convoy. Of
course you were.
So we went up there and like, we're literally just baking in the sun for 3 days. So it was like, who can throw the rock farther game for 3 days baking in the sun.
That's another thing that I think, like, people that want to get into long range shooting and talking about like the body position and the platforms and the mounting systems, tripods and stuff like that, we don't even get into the range calculation thing, where guys that want to shoot long range are like, to them, anything over 1,000 meters is a long shot.
Yeah.
And what they don't realize is when they get out in the real world, like 1,000 meters feels really close.
It does, yeah.
And like, you'll get out on these terrain features in the American West for hunting, or like, you do a lot of elk hunting, right?
Not a ton anymore, but I have. I have.
Ridge to ridge feels like a 300 meter shot.
Yeah.
And then you range it
1,200.
and it's like 1,200.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, I'm not making the shot. Like, you see a giant elk and you're like, that's mine. I'm gonna go ridge to ridge. And the guide's like, I don't think you are. Yeah. And then you range it and you're like, he's right, I'm not. Yeah. And like, we were in Afghanistan, like, I'd see a guy with a gun on another terrain feature away from me, and I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna get range on this because I'm gonna take him out once this thing starts. And I'd range him and I'd be like, dude, how is he 11 kilometers away? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't understand. He looks so close.
Did you have the big old vector out?
Yeah, vector out. I was like, this guy's good. And I'm like, shit, never mind. I'll have to call in a helicopter on that dude. But I mean, like, range on a known distance range, 12, 1,600 feels pretty far. But when you get out in open terrain and it's not plotted out for you anymore, it really does feel condensed. So like, understanding the capabilities of your platform, your own ability, like practice.
Well, then you go back to like hog hunting and varmint hunting at night and getting range at night. Like, I've always done the rangefinder through the monotube until we had the Raptor set up. And I never had the Raptor on a gun, so it was always that.
The integration of stuff that's coming out now is going to be so big. We played with Maztec stuff at SHOT this year. We still have, I actually have one on the table over there. Maztec makes an LPVO saddle for 34 millimeter optic, where your LPVO butts right up to a ballistic computer, and it makes the corrections for you. And when in the reticle for your scope. And it's one of those deals, it's like an RWS system for your carbine. That combined with a laser rangefinder, if they integrate those two together and then you put a clip-on night vision in front of it.
I've been using maps for range at
like Onyx.
A ton. Like Onyx, ATAC back in the day. That was super effective at night.
It's actually surprisingly accurate too.
No, it's super effective at night. And
it's a lot of reliance on technology.
Ton.
Which one of the things about with tripods, shooting sticks have been around since the dawn of shooting. Racing at, it's crazy to see how much old technology still supersedes modern technology in terms of watching guys who are good at ATAC, and it's like Magic and Onyx and all these things that guys are using to be good at hunting or combat or whatever, and being like, how do you read a map? Because
Yeah.
I had guys on my team that like, I mean, no offense to any guys on my team, but they couldn't read a map.
How'd they get selected?
They did read a map before, but then they
just
didn't,
lost the art of
and they
it.
didn't want to read a map. A lot of them would be like, well, I have a GRG, what do I need a map for? Like, I've got imagery and it's plotted. And you're like,
Oh,
yeah,
weird.
but it's not like range plotted. Like, we have to navigate to the target.
Yeah.
And like, you think this valley is the target valley, and I can guarantee you, we are still 5 clicks short. Like, you know, like,
yeah, because I used to go through and I would highlight like enemies most likely firing positions,
Yep.
and sometimes your imagery was so good, you're like, oh, that's a firing position, and you could actually be like, okay, from where we're walking to that thing up on the hill, that's a 400-meter shot.
Yep.
You know that you're not, for me, I'm not ripping my rifle up and shooting
uphill.
400
It's
meters
never happening.
uphill
No.
unsupported.
Yep.
Like, that's just not, and it's a, limited exposure
Means
target.
you have to bypass it. You have to walk
you
around.
walk around it, or, you kind of are looking at that thing and.
Same thing with hunting, like, property lines and like trying to like stay right. And
Yeah,
not get
property
into-
lines are huge, especially now that I work in that industry, and it's like, dude, I can't fuck up. Oh,
My stomach is grumbling, and I am fairly certain that the microphone's picking it
picking
up.
it up. I can't fuck up, like, if you're in this zone, you're legal, you're 40 feet to your, I'm like, no, I can't play that
Bro,
game
they
at
care
all.
too.
Yeah.
Like
and it
40
matters.
feet,
Yeah.
they care.
Yeah.
And it's weird because like super simple stuff that we learned like basically day one in the Army suddenly becomes relevant again. Like
Right.
planning out your route and having checkpoints and backstops and understanding like, hey, I've gone too far, I need to double back. Like people don't do that. And they're like, okay, I'm just going off my GPS, and like I can't tell you how many times my GPS has been wrong.
Yeah.
Because of, obstructions with the sky or like limited satellite coverage.
Totally.
And just like,
Do you, when you're in your truck, we're way off topic, and
Yep.
we'll bring it back, but when you're in your truck, do you orient your map north or your direction of travel?
north.
You do it north.
Yeah.
I do it north as well. It
People-
drives people bonkers.
Yeah, but I think
They're
people-
like, how the fuck are you reading that?
I just want to know.
But I can't compute when it's oriented to the direction of travel. I'm like, this doesn't even make sense. I'm going.
The craziest use of GPS I ever saw was when we were doing contract air in
Okay.
Afghanistan.
Yeah.
And you get in this helicopter that's like
And they have
a
an iPad
reasonably
on
new,
their lap.
a Garmin street map. Like a Garmin,
Oh, really?
like a literal, like the old ones that go in cars.
Like the TomTom looking
It
thing.
was like a TomTom.
Yeah.
And they had a car as the helicopter, and the dude's literally routing everything off of TomTom.
Oh, that's
his
wild.
navigation. And I was like, what? He's like, oh, it's way easier. And I'm like,
Cool.
awesome.
We used to build routes like that in ATAC for a time. When I started flying airplanes to get my license, everything's on an iPad. That blew me away that you're using an app on an iPad now to fly, and it's probably illegal to navigate that way until you have your instrument rating, but that's how everybody's doing it. It's like an iPad, Velcro mounted in your shitty 1960s airplane.
Yeah, man. Well, think about how cool it'd be to set up a tripod in the back of your bush plane.
Yeah, we gotta get that done. It's gonna be a thing.
It's the poor man's AC-130.
Yeah. Okay, so bringing it back a little bit, long range, medium. Are you shooting all normal, not normal, but like classic 5.56 and 308, or are you getting really weird with 6 arc now?
I'm really not in love with 308 anymore.
Okay.
Which is funny because I had a deep-seated romance with 308
I still do, yeah.
for years. You will laugh at the only 308 I have. I have a 10-inch barrel Q-Fix that I only shoot subsonics out of.
I hate all of that. So.
Subsonic 308s. It's a 100-meter gun.
Yeah.
But it has a ton of punch. I shoot a bunch of Barnes
TTSX.
TTSX subsonics, and like
Does that do well going slow?
Oh, it just murders hogs,
Does
dude.
it?
And it's fun. It's like almost no recoil. The Q-Fix is really light, and in 308, it's like not fun to shoot full test ammo out of.
Got it.
But with a short barrel, light gun, suppressed, shooting subsonics, like
Tons of fun.
it's great.
There's things that I've been like, oh, I don't really get that. And then I play with it enough and I'm like, oh, this is fun. I get this.
I'm torn on whether this platform that I have is appreciably better than a 300 Blackout. Like I don't
like 300 Blackout either. I just don't like the slow, short rounds. Like,
I will say, with the modern developments in 300 Blackout, it has superseded 308 in my mind.
Okay.
Like super hot 300 blackout, like they've done case redesign now on a lot of like casings for 300 blackout to allow more case capacity.
Yeah.
And like you are shooting 300 blackout supers that are like wildly hot.
Oh,
And
interesting.
yeah, guys
So
are,
that's cool to me.
Yeah, guys are taking them out to like 900, no problem. So like,
See, I need to go down this rabbit hole.
yeah, like, and those guys that are playing with that are like, they're exploring some really, really cool stuff, I think. I will say I still am very married to factory loads.
Yeah.
So what I have is a factory load game. So like I shoot 6.5 Creedmoor now, and I probably have 8 different varieties of 6.5 Creedmoor at the house, and I've got dope for all of them.
I was gonna say, how do you balance all that? You just grab a different. Are you using a Kestrel a lot? Or
Yeah,
are you all
I use a
still
Kestrel
dope
and a
codes?
Garmin Chrono a lot,
Okay.
but the dope that I have for, like, I'll change my scope cap dope. I use the Sobchak Security scope cap,
Yeah.
like range things, and if I'm gonna shoot a certain weight of bullet for a while, I'll change the scope cap dope card. And then this is just for ranging, like for, like passive ranging. But I find that like when I first started shooting long range, it was all about the smallest group I could get. And then when I started hunting, it wasn't really about using like, SMKs or like, the most accurate match round anymore. It was like, okay, I still want to kill a thing. I don't want to just punch a hole in it.
Yeah.
So I'd have to start looking at different weight bullets for different things. So like with 6 ARC, I shoot like 104 ELDXs, 103s, 104s, something like that. And then I shoot for coyotes, I'll shoot 75 grain, like VMAX, like fast stuff.
Yeah.
Totally different dope profile, but I know that I'm shooting one or the other, so like I just kind of change it out. I shoot a lot of 5.56, and I think 70 grain TSX is still kind of like the king.
Dude, you can't beat that.
It's fairly expensive per round, but almost no heartburn. I know I'm gonna kill anything I shoot. Like, I've killed big hogs, I've killed big deer with 70 grain, and people are like, oh, it's 5.56. Like, it's not gonna kill it. Like, it will kill it.
Dude, I took Pedro and Puero. He's a big international hunter guy. We went to Texas, and he's like, hey, I'm going to Texas. Can we get night vision and ARs and do a hog hunt? I was like, absolutely.
Did Armasight hook you up?
Yeah. They hooked me up with a loaner set.
Nice.
And I grabbed Barnes TTSX. And he's like, dude, there's no way this. And the first hog that he shot,
Just
it was
murdered.
Just down.
Dude, Adam and I were in Florida hunting hogs while we were hunting turkeys.
Yeah.
And we must have killed like 80 hogs.
Yeah.
And I was just straight murking them with 5.56, just one shot, and they're just down.
They're just down with TTSX.
Yep.
TTSX to me is, I started shooting TTSX quite a while ago, but I set my like old Winchester Model 70 308 up with that, and I've never changed it. And most of the game I've killed has either been 5.56 TTSX or that.
I still probably have 1,000 rounds of 308 TTSX.
Yeah.
And on the shelf that I'll still shoot supers out of that fix sometimes, depending on what I'm going after. And that TTSX is fire.
So for me, like my next build is going to be an AR-10, like general purpose rifle. But for me, it's always, I build the rifle, the optic, and the ammo, and I have a Pelican for each of those systems. And it's like, that is the thing, and I don't fucking change it. So it's interesting that you're like 4 different types of ammo and swapping dope cards.
It's funny because like it is a little bit more legwork, like prepping.
Yeah.
Because I got to go to the range and I've got to make sure that my dope's right. But I have them all for those factory loads. The thing that sucks about shooting factory, and anybody who's really into long range shooting is going to laugh at me and say I'm a chud, because the standard deviation on factory ammo it's not insignificant.
Yeah.
So like, there's a spread there. It's one reason why when I started shooting air guns, it was such a like religious experience, because the SD is like non-existent on an air gun.
Oh, really?
Oh, it's like 2 feet per second across like a 10 round string. You might get like a 20 foot per second variation in like your first 2 rounds, but once the system's charged up and going, it's like the same every time.
No way.
Oh, bro, I've got a KYL, like know your limit little swinger thing outside my office window at like 50 meters, and you just open the window and shoot the air gun, and you can shoot, I think the biggest one is like an inch target, and the smallest one is a 16th of an inch. It's just like a little razor line of metal,
way.
and you can just run the whole thing back and forth because it's just so accurate. It's freaking fun.
No way.
Yeah, yeah, air
And
guns
it's
are bad.
pellets, not like a big BB, right? It's like
So
a big.
they have pellets
round.
and they have slugs, and like the gun will be optimized for one or the other. I shoot hybrids out of my 22 air gun when I'm like trying to actually kill squirrels or raccoons or
Do you
whatever.
have a 30 cal air gun?
Jared does, and it is badass.
Can you deer hunt with that?
I mean, I would be surprised if you couldn't. It's definitely it is
Some states allow it.
it is definitely a two-legged game.
Two-legged game air gun.
It's dude, but it has
How
it has
fast does it push in one of those?
just under 1,000 feet per second. I mean, you can tune it to go faster, but
I mean,
like
that's a pistol round.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty awesome.
50 and in.
And the expansion on it on the slugs is
Oh,
it's
really?
impressive. Oh yeah, it's impressive.
Yeah, I gotta play with.
Dude, they're really cool. The 30 cal has a lot of kick and like a lot of. I mean,
How's the kick though? Is it like a push or is it?
it's
a
just like a
snappy-
thump. It's
Yeah.
it's there and it's kind of surprising because like shooting 22s and 25s, there's nothing. Like
Have you done an air gun only hunting trip?
No,
Yeah, I thought you guys did. For
no,
some
but I
reason.
mean-
I just heard about the turtles.
we work with the Utah Air Guns guys a lot. Those guys are awesome. And the reason that was so cool was because like we hunt a lot of hogs and we hunt a lot of deer, and going out and just shooting like snakes and turtles and being like, when you see a snake scooting across the water, like I'm never thinking I can shoot that with a centerfire gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, sure, we'll like plunk at it when we were kids and drinking beer or whatever, but like I'd never think about it. And they are literally like, they set up 3 match air guns on tripods and literally got a guy calling dope. Like, you know, he's like, hey, this is it.
How far are you shooting like small game with one of those air guns?
I mean,
100 meters.
I shot a turtle in the head at 340 meters.
Holy shit.
One correction round. I watched it. You can watch your
Oh, yeah.
trace, like, because it's so slow. I watched it lob in and land below him to the right, and I just made a sight correction in the scope, sent another one, and he just looked like he went to sleep and fell off the log. I was like, holy shit. Everybody was like, we were all
nuts.
cheering, and like,
Yeah.
it was so cool. I was like, man, this is awesome. And it's cheap. Like, the initial cost is high because you have to have a compressor, and you know, you have to like.
Oh, you do?
You have to have like a scuba level compressor because it's pretty high pressure.
Yeah.
So, you know, you spend $1,000 on a compressor and $2,000 on an air gun, but like, I think I bought 2,000 pellets for $40 or something.
And then you're just
Send them. Just shoot all you want.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's
I gotta play with one.
and with the 22, it's completely silent.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
you could shoot in a
Is
neighborhood.
the 25 still really quiet?
It's fairly quiet,
Getting
yeah.
a little louder. I
Especially
assume.
if you're not like really tuning them up or whatever. I mean, a lot of guys, because it's really big in like European countries, will do urban shooting and they'll turn them down and they'll be shooting at like 680, 700.
Oh, really?
And they're just like,
What are they shooting? Rabbits?
I guess. I haven't really gotten into what they're shooting. Most of them have little, like, kind of fun target ranges in their backyard and
Got
just
it.
kind of shoot that stuff. But I mean, air guns are pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's not a downside, right? It's like if you're killing things at 100 meters, there's a ton of places you like. If my longest shot at my hunting property, I can maybe get 200 meters out of that. So
You're probably not even looking for game at 200 because
no,
they'll
there's
come
no
in.
need to.
They'll come
yeah,
in
they'll
closer.
come in closer, right?
Yeah.
So when you look at hunting like raccoons or any varmint, it seems like the move, honestly.
And then, dude,
Plus, it opens up where you can hunt.
they're super fun. They're not real guns, so you can order one online and have it delivered to your house.
Yeah.
The suppressors are called moderators.
This is like the opposite of the AR Curious.
Yeah.
Like right now.
I'm gonna tell you, I think that like
Probably a gateway drug, though.
part of this podcast is that all guns are cool. Like,
Yeah.
Like, and so like covering a whole bunch of bases, not just the AR platform, is kind of part of the whole passion. And it's like you said, we got, you know, tinkerers and, you know, marksmen, and there's a whole variety of interest.
Well, and I think the air guns gives you so much of the issue with shooting is where do you go shoot? Like you and I both have different but great range memberships.
Yep.
Like both have property we can shoot on, but that's not most people. And so if the air gun's the gateway drug to the AR-15, why
I would
not?
be shocked if air guns don't supersede rimfire for like precision, like NRL 22.
Interesting. Yeah.
Because they're just way more consistent. And you know, they've got a cocking lever like an on shoots or whatever. So
Yeah.
you just
Yeah.
and send it.
Well,
They're-
especially since they're pneumatic. Like we're used to the like Benjamin, you know,
Oh, yeah, no.
brake action.
It's like multi-chamber like it has all these expansion chambers, and
Oh,
like
yeah.
they're legit.
Are they doing more volume of air or less volume, higher
You're
pressure?
gonna get me talking about things I don't know now.
Yeah.
I know that there's all these different valves, and that if I turn my hammer spring tension up, I have to adjust the regulator because there's like a balance between
Got it.
what works. So like when I turn my hammer spring up all the way, I was getting larger groups, so I'd like turn it down a little bit, and my groups would come back together. So there's turbidity and all this
Yeah,
because it's a drag stabilized pellet, so it's like there are things that matter that you don't really think about in a firearm. So pitch out to the Utah Air Guns guys. They know how to tune one. So like
That's pretty cool.
If you buy a gun from them and pay for them to set it up, you're gonna get a tuned gun
Yeah.
delivered to your house, and you can literally take it out of the box and shoot it.
Oh,
Yeah,
sick.
it's ready.
Can you get do you have to buy a compressor or can you just get like
So they'll
tanks
mail
filled?
you a full scuba tank, which
Because like you can go to a scuba shop and be like,
And get it
hey,
refilled,
crank this to like
100%.
4,500 PSI
Yep.
or whatever they go to.
Yep. But also like, I mean, I have a scuba tank and a compressor because like the compressor is, you don't want to move it. It's really heavy.
Yeah.
So like I fill my scuba tank up and then use a scuba tank to fill the air gun when I'm out and about. Like, but I mean, with a 22, I get, I don't know, it's been a minute since I've shot it a bunch, but I probably get like 120 shots out of a tank.
yeah.
So like I don't really have to fill it up.
You fill it and go hunting and you're done.
Yep.
Yeah.
And bigger calibers are less shots, but I still think Jared probably gets 50 or 60 out of a fill on his 30 cal.
That's cool.
Which is still a lot.
Yeah.
For
Have you
hunting.
played with the shotguns, the air shotguns?
No. Oh, and they make arrow guns too. Like,
Well, I knew they made arrow
like
guns.
rotating arrow guns.
Yeah.
I mean, I really kind of want to get into a fully automatic one. They make select fire
Oh, they do?
pellet guns now that are like,
Yeah, I mean like 1,000 foot per second, 30 cal select fire full auto would be pretty wild.
super cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, and you know, the funny part, like coming back to talking about like tripods and shooting positions with air guns, shooting a broad array of targets in kind of the open field, a tripod's perfect.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, yeah.
mounting the air gun to a tripod and then making, you know, windage and elevation corrections off the tripod are much easier. It's also weird because they shoot differently. Like the air gun specific scopes that are made by some like air gun companies. I'm trying to remember, Element is like a big one. They're like a Swedish company with like they use Japanese glass, but
Yeah.
they're actually shockingly great scopes. They have a very fine-tuned parallax adjustment deal.
Oh, interesting.
So they
down
actually-
to like 5 meters or instead of 50.
and they'll range with parallax.
Oh, interesting.
So like they'll find the target
So they're getting like the gnats
and they'll like
ass.
rotate the parallax to in focus, and then they'll look and then they'll do dope based on where the parallax is
Interesting.
on it, which is actually like kind of cool because
Yeah.
you see the guys shooting and they'll have like the gun in their shoulder and they'll like be parallaxing, windage adjustment, and then shoot.
It's similar to archery in that like 2 yards matters.
Oh, it does.
Doesn't matter with a rifle, right? It's
Massively matters.
Literally doesn't matter. With an arrow, it matters.
Yep, and it matters a lot with an air gun too.
Yeah.
But I mean, I took that air gun, my 22 air gun, out to a pop-up range, undisclosed, and I was knocking pop-up targets down at 300 meters
Yeah.
with an
Pop-up
air gun.
trash cans.
Yeah, yeah, pop-up trash cans.
Just out
But
shooting piles of trash.
it was like fun, right? Like we ran out of like the issued ammo for the day, and I was like, hey, set up the targets. And it's just like, you get a lot of experience with like running your windage when you have different pop-ups at different ranges.
Yep.
Adjust, send one. But I mean, a 300 meter shot with an air gun is like a 1,200 meter shot
Oh, yeah.
with a regular gun. You got a lot of windage you got to dial.
Yeah.
But it's pretty fun.
That's super interesting. It was one of the things that I've started talking about. A couple years ago, I did a bear hunt, and we flicked some boogers. Like we took some long unsuccessful shots, 2 long unsuccessful shots.
How long?
Like 1,200.
Okay.
Not like crazy, but like relative. And why it was long for me is I was
300 Win Mag?
through a Win Mag, and I was on a borrowed gun.
Okay.
And the reason that I think that was too long wasn't the distance, but the like ridge line to ridge line, and that's the wind going through there. You're like,
Changes things a lot.
yeah, like my
And
first
it
shot I
changes,
made.
it changes throughout the course of the flight of the bullet.
Yeah, and it changes instantly too. So my first shot was like 7 feet to the right, and I forget what the mills were, but so I had a spotter, so it was like 7 feet, a little low and right basically, and made the adjustment and went like 5 feet the other for the next impact, and I was like, no, we're done. Like you're at a point where you're just, you know, and it was windy. It was a very windy.
This is better than your traditional archery bear hunt that you tried to pawn off on me. The one that you and Evan were gonna go on, and you're like, yeah, you can go for me, and I'm like, I don't want to.
I still have the bow for that. I have like a 70-pound recurve that I plan to hunt a bear with over a bait pile.
This dude is telling me about a traditional archery bear hunt that he's going to go on with Evan Hafer from Black Rifle. And he's like, oh, it's going to be cool. And I'm like, nothing about that seems cool. That sounds suicidal. I know it's like 30 meters and in that you're taking a shot.
But they're on bait. So they're messing with the bait more than you.
Yeah, okay. Still, I'm pretty sure you're not killing it with the first arrow.
No, you keep shooting. Yeah.
Exactly. And and then they say, I remember you telling me like, oh, once you stick the bear with an arrow, the bear is paying attention to the arrow, not you. It's like trying to get the arrow out. And I'm like, bro, nothing about this sounds good. And then I remember it was like, you backed out because some other thing came up that you had to do.
There was a company thing that happened, so him and I both had to bail.
Yeah, but you bailed first and offered it to me.
Yeah.
And I was like, bro, no. Like, I'm not even interested. And then Evan had to bail, and I was like, I feel better for bailing, but also that sounds like the dumbest hunt.
I still want to go do it. I actually want to get back in touch with that outfitter. Like, I built a badass recurve bow for it. Like, I want to go shoot a bear with it.
Dude, shooting a recurve bow is so different than shooting compound.
Yeah, it's a whole other ball of wax. The compound, to me, it's the difference between shooting like a pistol and shooting a like long range gun. They're just very a shotgun and a long range gun.
I will say shotgunning is that shotgunning is a fine art. That
Are you guys going to do shotgun stuff more frequently?
So we have several projects in the works with that currently, and I can't talk about one of them, but we are doing a stock design for a very well-known shotgun company for a very popular and very, very awesome automatic shotgun.
Cool.
And we also make a very low saddle mount for an acro for the Beretta shotguns that actually allows you to co-witness your rifle sights on a shotgun with the acro. So for like patrol or turkey, having that low mount acro is very nice.
Yeah, we did that Beretta collab with Langdon, and we want to do another collab.
Dude, the 1301 and the A300 are there.
Yeah, that's the debate: is do we do a shotgun? Because there's not a lot of cool shotguns out there.
I mean,
I want to get more into duck hunting.
The thing is, much like rifles, shotguns are specific use.
They are.
And so like
I would almost say more specific.
A patrol shotgun. I mean, I've got that Vepr 12 that is just obscene, and it's got a JK armament can on it, and it is just like an anti-aircraft gun. It's insane. Dude, I mean, it's so long.
Yeah.
But it's fun as hell to shoot. It's amazing. But I've taken it out to shoot skeet with it before. Oh, bro, it ain't happening.
No.
There's so many reasons it's a terrible skeet shooting gun, but then that's not a cheat.
Do the cans act as a choke on a shotgun? It's got to some degree.
I don't know. I know this though, that it doesn't suppress it as much as you'd think.
No, I wouldn't think it would.
It's weird because if you're off angle from the shotgun, it actually sounds like it's suppressed. If you're behind it, it doesn't really sound like you're saving yourself a whole lot.
Safe. Yeah.
It's pretty loud.
Because you would think that looking into the baffles, it would just have baffle strikes like a.
Well, the wadding I think holds it in place through the can. So it doesn't release until after it gets out of the can. So I think you're safe on that one. It's just a really odd phenomenon. Like moving into suppressed shotguns is really weird. And for me, like if I was going to carry a shotgun for defensive purposes, I want like a 14-inch shotgun. Like
Do you think a shotgun is a viable?
No.
Like I've never heard a good argument for a shotgun versus an AR.
Well, I mean, I guess if you talk to LE guys, a lot of dudes like in the marshals and stuff want to carry a shotgun.
For what purpose?
I don't know. But I mean,
like I think they're neat. I would definitely do one now just to like add that to the repertoire.
I mean, I think it sends a strong message.
The shotgun?
Yeah, a shotgun does. And I mean, I understand. I mean, I get why.
Yeah, but so does like a bunch of
70 grain
5.56.
TSX. I think it's
70 grain
interesting
TSX
when
sends
a lot of
message.
our 5.56 stuff has less pass through than shotgun projectiles. So
Yeah.
like the safety in a house argument with shotguns isn't really
It
there.
all gets debunked to
Yeah.
me. Like there's no, the whole just point and let it rip thing is also idiotic in my opinion. So
I think the multi-use, like the multi-purpose rounds have some bearing, like, being able to do different things with different shotgun rounds, I think matters. I think breaching shotguns still have a place for mechanical or ballistic breaching.
Yeah.
But like, it's a sporting gun to me.
To me, it is too.
Yeah.
And so, like, when we looked at doing a collab with Langdon, which we haven't figured out what the next one's going to be, to me, it was like, can I make a really cool sporting shotgun that feels like one of our guys would want to buy it? So I was looking more
I don't know,
like
because
A300.
Because the pointing of them, like, for sporting, like the Monte Carlo stock and having a really low bore radius, like, matters.
Yeah.
In terms of like finding your target and hitting it.
Well, it's fitted to you. So
Yeah.
did you go to that last Primlin hunt that we did?
No.
So we did a Primlin hunt, and a friend of mine who's like the same build had a custom fitted Super Gucci Beretta. And he was like, hey man, you're going on
Gas gun or?
No,
Over
over-under. Beautiful gun, tens of thousands of dollars is my understanding. And I don't know those well enough to speak to him, but he's like, you have to shoot this. Like, we're very similar builds.
It's night and
gonna
day,
fit
isn't it?
you amazing. Dude, I didn't miss. Like, it was to a point where the guy, I was teamed up with this dude named Tim, who wasn't a great shot. I was already maxed out on my birds. A bird would flush. He would shoot it and miss, and I would look at like the guy just like,
pick it
go
up.
ahead, and I would just pick it up like seconds later in its flight and literally couldn't miss with that thing. Whereas my Model 870 that I've had since I was a kid, like, one, that thing punches you in the face every time
Dude, I
you pull the
got a
trigger.
Stoker Uplander over and under that I always thought was like fine. I got it in kind of like a trade deal, and I'm like, this is fine. It's an over and under.
Yeah.
And I got a nice gun from Adam when we were quail hunting,
Yeah.
and it's like,
Game changer.
oh, dude, like
Yeah.
just smoking quail.
Yeah, so my question is, can we replicate that with like a cool auto loader?
I don't know. I mean, the thing is with autoloaders, it's a totally different scenario too, right? Like it's more like a rifle. I mean, and people hunt with shotguns, like rifled bore shotguns, with slugs,
Yeah.
or smooth bore, I guess.
well,
slugs.
Yeah,
With
but there's
rifled
also
slugs.
there's rifled slugs and there's rifled shotgun barrels too.
So it's a crazy,
Yeah.
it's a crazy thing. Now we got into a whole new rabbit hole, but
You gonna wrap it up?
yeah, I feel like we've been in here for an hour
We have.
or more because we will ramble and ramble and ramble. But if you enjoyed this, hit like and subscribe. We're going to be here for a while because we like hanging out with each other. And so maybe this was interesting or maybe it wasn't, but I can guarantee we're going to talk about something that'll like get your panties in a bunch at some point.